Is that okay? Can everyone hear me? Hi, my name is Eliana and I am an outreach officer and a content creator for the Young Scientist Journal, and I'm your chair of your panel today. So I'm going to go along and have everyone introduce themselves, say what they do. So, Josh?
So hi, I'm Josh. I'm head of tech for the Young Scientist Journal. So I manage all of the systems throughout everything we do, from websites to back-end article management systems.
Hi, I'm Ameline. I'm in my last year. I'm in year 13, and I'm studying physics, chemistry, maths, and further maths. And I also work with the STEM project as an executive youth STEM director.
Hello, my name's Patrick. I'm the Chief Academic Advisor for the Young Scientist Journal. And then outside of the journal, I'm a fourth-year medical student.
Okay, so does anyone have any questions or anything they want to know about maybe just the Young Science Journal, about how to get involved, or about anyone's particular areas of interest? Okay, so maybe we can talk about my involvement with the Young Science Journal. So I essentially found out about the Young Science Journal at the Tunbridge Science Conference, which was just under a year ago, I believe. At one of the events like this, and then I sort of saw I really wanted to publish some of my articles I'd written about various scientific things I had done. So I saw the opening of a content creator. So now, sort of once a month or whenever I'm free at this point, I write various articles for different things. So we had to like Scientist of the Month, for example, and it was, I can't remember which month it was, but the Scientist of the Month was Leonardo da Vinci. So I wrote an article about him, and then I also get to publish my own articles as well. And more recently, I became part of the outreach team, which has led me being here. Kind of like a fluke, really. But I always wanted to do something like this and get more people involved in science. And so, yeah, I thought this would be a great opportunity to do that.
Yeah, so I got into the journal from a friend of mine who was the head of production at the time, who also wanted to join in. And that was about 4 years ago, and I'm still here. So really not that bad. It's not a lot of time I put into it. It's really rewarding what I do. Our team manage all the systems, and we get everything up and running, and we publish all the articles for guys.
My experience with the journal goes back now. I've not been officially part of the journal, but I've published with the journal. Back when I was 16, I did a project looking at like adverse sexual health behaviours and their risks, and I got that published within the journal. I then followed the journal for a few years, and then just this May, I was appointed as an academic advisor for the journal. And then moving into July, I'm now the chief academic advisor. So I run the team who basically conduct some of the final reviews on articles that come through for publication. And we also help run some essay competitions and things like that. So if any of you guys are looking to get involved in research and kickstart that sort of scientific process, keep an eye out on the journal website for any upcoming openings in essay competitions, things like that.
Okay, so I know, Josh, you do some interesting things with robotics, and some competitions, so maybe you want to tell people a little bit about that?
Yeah, so something I've done outside of YSJ is a lot of robotics competitions, and I learned about them through YSJ articles actually that I went to publish and went, oh, this looks quite interesting. I should get involved in this. So I've been part of a couple of international artificial intelligence fairs and competitions and bits and bobs like that.
Okay, we have our first question.
Thank you. Okay, so for any students who want to write an article for the Young Scientist Journal, can it be a theory-based one, or does it have to be new, practical research? Can it be based on other people's research? So how novel do these ideas have to be to write an article for the journal?
So at the moment, in order to write for the journal, you'll have to become a content creator. But they're fairly flexible with what you can write about. Obviously, like I mentioned, sometimes they'll have something specific they have in mind. But I'd say generally they're very flexible, whether it's, because I wrote an article about some research I'd done comparing adaptations of predatory insects using like a scanning electron microscope. So it's things from that to also, there's been recently a new development of the first vaccination in bees, which I also wrote an article about. So it's very flexible in what you can do as well.
Yeah, so you can do that through our website if you just go to sort of apply, and then you can become part of our team, or you can go to publish my article, and it will take you through the steps to publish your article that you've written and get our team to help you edit it and review it in that way.
Do you have a question?
I'm thinking specifically for Patrick. Obviously, when you were applying for med school, what did you do in the run up to that application? You know, was there something similar to the journal that you did to help best support your application?
Yeah, so I just sort of looking around the room, and many people in here are applying to medicine or thinking of applying to medicine. Maybe, don't know. But I obviously had my involvement within the journal where I published that sort of paper. And then alongside that, lots of the other sort of extracurricular activities that I was doing were things like work experience. On top of the work experience, if you're going to go down the route of medicine, I think you need to take something away from that work experience that you can talk about in interviews. So if you are thinking a bit, and this doesn't just apply to medicine, it applies for any subject that you're going to go into and could do the work experience for, have a look at some of the core values you need to succeed in that role as a professional, and where you want to go in your career. And then within that work experience, try to reflect upon the things that you have seen and been involved in. And then if you do that now and start building up that portfolio of reflections now, it will sort of guide you really well in future for UCAS applications, when you're writing personal statements, and then when you go through to interviews for university degrees and also like job applications.
Okay, Ameline, do you want to tell us a bit about, like, I know you want to do engineering. Can you tell us a bit about like your love for engineering?
Well, yeah, I do want to hopefully go and study mechanical engineering. And I actually got into my love from engineering from research and from reading articles and different publications like the Young Scientist Journal. And I think it's really important to just kind of immerse yourself into as much, literature, lectures, books, podcasts, anything you can find about your subject, just so you can find something, that like twinges your interest that you're really interested in. Like personally, I'm really interested in battery technology. So I can go onto Google Scholar, search up some articles, maybe publish an article if you're interested in it, because it's really important, like Patrick said, to start building up your reflections and trying to just delve a bit deeper into the subjects you're learning, because not just in school, maybe like outside of the curriculum, which can also help for like personal statement writing in university applications.
Thanks. Any questions? Yeah.
Hi, everyone. My name is Christina Aston. I'm one of the co-founders of the journal, and I must say it's a real delight to see it still thriving nearly 20 years after we founded it in 2006. And my question really for the panel was, and this could be to any or all of you, what do you see as the big challenges in science? I know the conference is subtitled STEM for Good, but what do you think the challenges are that we face that are science related? And without trying to sound over grand, to what extent do you think the journal can help to address them?
I think one of the problems with science is that it's not necessarily accessible to everyone. And I think the Young Scientist Journal is a good sort of method of sharing knowledge amongst, people our age and young people. And I feel like maybe, I guess not everyone is as fortunate as we are to have these opportunities. And I think the Young Scientist Journal is a great way of making it, because you have physical magazines, you have lots of different outreach places, conferences, competitions, sort of making it as available to everyone, not just people who come from like higher incomes, but like low income people all around the country. I think that's really important.
I think one of the biggest issues, especially for young people in science is actually being able to sort of get out there and get their work known and get their publications out there. And that's a massive thing that YSJ helps with. A lot of people think it's really hard to get your work out there, but sort of with YSJ, it makes it really easy to get your publications known to all throughout the world, everywhere internationally. We've people look at all of our stuff.
I think it's also really important to focus on using STEM to prepare for the future, like dealing with renewable energy, climate change, global warming. And I think especially for us young people, it's really important to be more aware of these issues and to either do your own research or read other people's research and actively know and see what's going on in the field of STEM and what you can do in the future, which is why publishing articles in the Young Scientist Journal and reading them can really be beneficial.
I think I agree with the rest of the panel in the sense that science isn't always accessible to everyone from such a early stage in the career, and I think the Young Scientist Journal really opens up that door to allow young people to get involved with scientific research and explore their passions in science beyond what's sort of expected within school curriculums. And also, by getting involved with the journal, it sort of gives you that stepping stone to get involved in further research. So I know just from personal experience, having been involved within the Young Scientist Journal, sort of and being published 5 years ago, if I now at university mention that to people, they're much more keen to have me involved in part of their project. So if any of you can and are interested in sort of getting involved with us, then it's something that I'd really recommend because it opens up so many doors for you.
I just wanted to add as well, I find it really cool. So when I was growing up, I'm only 17, but how the women in STEM and science has improved a lot. And I noticed today, how many of our speakers were women in science, and just looking around the room that, 50% of girls interested in STEM. I think that's also really important, making it sure that science for the future is diverse and taking on experiences from everyone, because I feel like that's how we're gonna better the future, I guess. Sounds a bit corny, but yeah, that's a question.
I was just wondering if you had any other thoughts on limitations for people to get involved in science. So I don't know whether it be just their education or anything, but if there was any ideas that you had on more inclusion in the scientific community, and how people view certain groups in relation to science. So for example, the social sciences as well, how they're viewed in comparison to maybe STEM subjects that people talk about, whether there are any differences in how you viewed those.
So if you go on our website, you'll find so many of we don't just publish the physics, the chemistry, the biology. We publish all of the sciences, and that's everything from every science. And that's that's also the technology, it's also the engineering, it's also the maths, it's also the arts. And I think the wide range of articles that we publish as YSJ really shows the inclusivity of sort of everyone who's involved with us, and it shows sort of from every point of the globe we've had a article from everywhere almost. Looking at, I think we've got a map on our site that says where all the articles are from, and it's chock-a-block of everywhere. But it really shows sort of all the inclusivity and sort of everyone who gets involved with us. Yeah.
I think it also offers a certain level of flexibility to not just having to study what's on your curriculum. So you could be oh, I found, I'll say I'm going to link back to my vaccination with bees, but I found vaccinations and that sort of science really interesting. So I was hold on, what else can I do? And rather than just sort of, yes, it's cool to research these things, but sometimes you want the things you look at in your articles to have a bit more meaning. So not only can I now say that I further expanded on my curriculum, I then also got it published and I got to share my findings, and I also entered a communication competition. It's those little things that you can just add and just, I guess, make yourself more well-rounded, I'd say.
I've got another question myself. This one's from Marlene. Obviously, the STEM project kind of sounds very broad, but I'm really intrigued to know, especially as an executive director, what your role within that organization is, and how it affects what happens in the wider community. So could you tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, sure. Well, currently I only got my role a few months ago, so I'm still pretty new. But what we're really trying to do is similar to what the Young Scientist Journal is trying to do. We really just want to have as many people as possible be interested in STEM and know about STEM. So a lot of the work we're doing is trying to work with like low-income communities, different schools, different youth organizations, different youth groups, and try and get them interested in different parts of STEM and show them the vast, wide range of opportunities that are available, because STEM encompasses so much. There's so much to learn. There's so many different areas. Everyone can find out what they're interested in. So that's mainly what we're trying to do.
So Josh, again, I guess you're really modest with what you do with like technology. So do you want to tell maybe the people some of the cool things you've done? Because I know you've done lots of them. You just
So some of the stuff we've done through YSJ over the last year and a half, I think. So we've completely redone the website, I think 2 times now, just to give it a different look or a modern feel. We custom wrote an entire article management system from scratch. That was amusing, to say the least, but it's all working now. They're all good. We've done so many other things with all the other websites we've done, so the events pages and all of the new articles we've had coming in. We've got a massive influx of new articles to publish. They're currently sitting on my Notion, ready to go, and I'll be doing those when I get home tonight. Yeah, we've done so many things with the journal. Yeah.
so we've sort of each of us has spoken about like our areas of interest, but Patrick, what's like your I guess we also know you're doing medicine, but like what in particular about medicine interests you?
I think the it's always a difficult question to answer when someone says, "Why did you study medicine?" I think I went into it because for me it was the right balance between like academia and also being sort of public patient facing. Medicine's like fundamental. It's an academic degree, and then it allows you to go and put that academia into practice in the real world, which, like many of the other all of the other STEM subjects, engineering, for example, you can then go and apply your knowledge and your science into the real world and make a difference to people. I think in terms of interests at the moment, I'm in 4th year, so I don't know where I want to go yet. I am keen to go down a route of medical education, and there's just so many different routes to explore. But fundamentally, the key ones are, the patient-facing side of things, but then you also have the academic side of things, so education and research. And I hope that with my involvement in the Young Scientist Journal, I'll be able to sort of help more people get involved with that research element.
Okay, so before we finish, do you have any final questions about anything science related? Yep.
How do you like manage or organize the journal?
As in the team members or as in articles? So mainly we have a community Discord, which has everyone, team members and otherwise everyone else on, and we have a team Discord with millions of channels, and everyone talks on that, and we have cross departments, so we've got all of our departments with heads and executives for each department, and then we've got team leads for everything. So for any project we have, we'll have a team lead on that project along with the executive and the head of department. So for things like articles, it'll go through the whole system of it will get reviewed, and initially then it will go through the stages with the junior editors to review it and edit it with the author, and then it will go through with the senior editor to check it over, and then it gets sent over to the production department where we publish it for the world to see.
Also, we try and have like, because obviously there's only so much you can do over Discord, so we have meetings, I think once a month, like heads of department, just so everyone knows where they're at, and they give updates as well. And I think, I'm not sure if it's on the website yet, but there's like a little, I guess it's like a family tree of like how everything connects and like different roles and also different available roles, which I think you can find the available roles on the website under Join Us, I believe, and then it will show you all available roles. But there's a couple of roles available now if anyone's interested. But if you keep an eye out, if there's something in particular you're looking for, it's always being updated as new roles come about.
Thanks. It was just another final question about studying sciences. So for anyone who's in maybe year 11 and choosing A levels, or in year 13 and thinking about degree subjects, science doesn't always get an easy press, especially my subject, which is physics. It suffers from quite a bad press, and it's sometimes perceived as quite a difficult option. What advice would you give somebody who's deciding whether or not to choose science at A level or degree?
Do it.
I was going to say, Patrick, do you want to talk about it from like a degree perspective?
Yeah. So I guess the further up the ranks you go with studying, the more you sort of really need to want to do it. And I think people, if you've got that drive to do it, then you should be getting involved in the scientific research that you can. I think going back to sort of GCSE, I think it's really important for everyone to have the sort of core teaching in science. For me, it wasn't something that I realized I was interested in until I went to secondary school. So it was my teachers and the classes around me that inspired me to sort of take on science and take science into a career. And then I'd just say if you like it and that's what you want to do it. Don't let anything hold you back from doing it, and any of the sort of boundaries that we spoke about earlier, which hopefully we're sort of managing to bring down now. I'd just say get involved.
Yeah, so don't get me wrong, it's not necessarily easy, but it's very rewarding. Just make sure you balance like the academic side and things you do for fun as well. So don't let those things slip just because you've got a heavy workload. So I think that concludes our panel. That's all we have time for today. So if you want to find out anything else about the Young Science Journal, check out our website and check out job applications. If you have any questions that you want to ask us separately, feel free to find us and ask us.